Hi everyone, it's Cheryl, and tonight it's probably gonna be a two-part video, but I got inspired by something that I was going to do, and then that inspired me to do something different with it. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is showing you how to make a very, very simple little junk journal. And this junk journal is going to be made out of a greeting card. Okay, I was at Dollar Tree the other day while I was waiting for my car to get fixed. I walked down to the Dollar Tree, and I found this really cute cat. And as most of you know, I love cats. And I thought, well, this would be this. It's just as a greeting card, and I thought, well, this would be cool. I could just take the front off the card, and I could make it, put it on a junk journal and do another Halloween one. Well, I got to thinking about it, and I got to looking at it. And the card itself, and this is some really, really heavy cardstock, measures roughly 4 3/4 wide by about 6 3/4 long. So it's a perfect size for a small single signature junk journal. So I thought, well, why not? And if you don't want to go to all the trouble of making your covers or using file folders or whatever, I thought, what a neat idea. Okay, this has the yellow page behind it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be gluing that to the back of the front page. So I already have my inside cover, or the piece you put over the inside. And then this is just an extra page here, and it just says Have a Perfect Halloween. And then you have your back, and I'll have to find some paper to put in back here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this edge out here. I think I may just use some black soot distress ink around the edge before I glue this piece of paper down. The other cool part of this is, since it's a greeting card, it already comes with a ready-made pocket. So what I did was, this is the envelope that came with the card, and what I did was I just folded it in half, and I folded it this way so I would have two little tuck spots here, and then I just sliced just a little thin bit off the top of the envelope. Well, it would be the bottom of the envelope, because this is technically your closure, and I just wet this so that the glue is no longer sticky. And then I just trimmed a little bit off the top, folded it in half this way, used the top of the envelope for the bottom, and I have two little tuck spots. And I saw somebody here on YouTube do this, and I can't remember. I've seen several, but whoever you were, thank you. It's a wonderful idea. I'm so sorry I don't even remember. When I started doing junk journals, I was watching so many crafters, and you're all just wonderful, and I'm so inspired. So the next thing I did was I decided, what I would like for paper in my signature, and I am using coffee dyed copier paper that I like. So I just coffee dyed it and baked it, and then I got some old scrapbook paper that was Halloween that I decided to use up. And this is a Teresa Collins paper, and it's called Haunted Hollows. So that's the name of it. If I'd looked on the front of the thing, I'd have seen it. The other day I was showing you, and I was saying I used some Teresa Collins paper. I didn't know what the name of it was. Well, now I do. Anyway, so I just cut the paper to the size I needed. And my papers that I cut for the inside measure, let's get the ruler right, 4 1/2 by 6 1/2, and this was 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, so I left just 1/4 inch around the edge. So that's what I did with those, and I just folded them in half, and I think I used 4 of the coffee dyed papers, and then 1 of the onion skin paper, because I like it and I love that crinkly sound. So this is how simple it is to make just a little junk journal. I figured, Halloween's a holiday, and maybe you just want to capture this one holiday in a little junk journal, so this would be perfect. It wouldn't be too big nor too small. So now what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to try distress inking around the edges first. Get out my Tim Holtz Black Soot Distress Ink, which is one of my favorites for vintage and like Halloween things, and I don't want to get my card in it. Now if I can just find my inking tool. It was here. It was here. I have such a mess up here, it's unreal. I am, at this time, one messy crafter, and I'm not proud of that fact, There it is. Okay, so I'm just going to try and see how this works just inking around the edge of this card. So I'm just going to dab my inker in here, and I never have good luck doing stuff the way they say do it at a slant, just, you know. Yeah, okay, it's working okay this time. And I did want to make sure I don't really want to get it onto my paper where it might be seen. So we'll just ink these up real quick. And I'm not going to worry if it's perfect or not. I just kind of want to get enough of it on here that I don't have that white edge around when I glue this piece of paper down. And I realize I may have a little, but hopefully not too much. There, that's better. I need to get over here in this edge, though. Right here. Okay, there we go. That's good. So you can see it inked the edge black, so we're good there. Now I'm going to finish doing that around the back side also, and that'll make it easier when I go to put my piece of pattern paper down. Or I think I've got some yellow cardstock that's just about the same color as this. If I can find some, I may use that. Oh, that's making a funky, unique sound. Oh, I am so stiff and so sore. I went shopping with my daughter Sarah on Saturday, and we took Zoe with us. And Zoe was very excited at going shopping. She was also very, very tired. And we stopped at a truck stop out on the highway where we get on the interstate, and we got some pop. And Zoe had to go potty, so we stopped for that reason also. And so now I'm just going to be applying the glue to... My glue is open. No, it's stuck shut again. Oh, the stuff. Anyway, Zoe was kind of not on her best behavior. And so we got ready to go. We were just about to the car, and my daughter Sarah had a hold on Zoe, you know, holding her hand and stuff. And Zoe broke loose from that, and where does she run? Right toward the highway. And I mean, it's one of those moments in a mom or a grandma's life that just kind of, I think, makes your heart like skip a beat or stop or something like that. It's pretty scary. And it was pretty busy traffic that day. Well, I went after Zoe. My daughter Sarah's going to have another baby, and I went after Zoe, and I was going to try to grab her by the back of the shirt because she was almost to the edge of the road. And instead, I kind of, I don't know what you want to call it. I call it a flying tackle, kind of. Because I realized I couldn't get her shirt where I wanted to, and I was just going to pull her back or hold on tight. And so I kind of went tumbling with Zoe, and I kind of landed on my shoulder with my arm underneath me and my side, and I had a bottle of Coke in my hand, and I'm pretty sure I poked that into my side too. Yeah, so I am hurting bad, and I went to work today, and I'll tell you what, after that, all I really want to do is crawl into bed. But I hate when I have, you know, like when I come home, or like when I have time off, days off, I don't want to waste a minute of it, because I feel like I just don't, you know, have that much. I'm thinking maybe I'm just going to glue this page here down also. And I'm going to push this down a little better because I can see my glue spots, but it's kind of hard because the cat is a cutout. And so you're going to end up with some, let me back this off a little bit. Oops, wrong way. And I have my Halloween jammies on again. So yeah, you're going to see a little bit of, you know, the bubbles from the glue, because this paper in here is not real heavy. So, but we'll be all right. We'll embellish it and stuff like that. And you know, really using the, if you just want a, you know, a little junk journal for a special occasion like this, you know, there are so many cute greeting cards out there, and you could always add your own embellishments to them, or, you know, put some stickles here and there, or, you know, that kind of stuff. And these really would make just a cute little junk journal cover. And so that's, like I said, I bought this to put on a junk journal, and now I'm going to end up now making it into a junk journal. So I wish I had my brayer, but it's lost from my move that didn't happen too. So it's probably in my car trunk. I still have a bunch of stuff in my car trunk, and I got to get it out of there because It's getting colder out. There. Anyway, like I said, you can kind of see my glue here, but we're going to make a pocket or something here, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Oh, and I didn't get that one glued down, and it's rippling on me. Oh, well, it's a junk journal, right? So I have several of these, and I have no particular rhyme or reason for how I'm going to put them together. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start putting my pages one inside the other and building my journal. So here, and I say I've got a lot of orange in this one. I used words there. I don't want to use words again. I have a lot of words, I guess, here. And I'm just going to stack mine. I'm just going to go, like, I'm going to see if this works. You know, you want to kind of plan out your journal. You know, what paper's going to go where, how you're going to do that. Let's see, I was going to save this for the middle, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. So I'll put that one in. What did I use last? Orange. I have lots of orange. I think this one is the only one that doesn't have a lot of orange on it. Oh, it's 7 o'clock, and I think they have to blow that stupid whistle. We don't have a fire department anymore here, so really, they don't have to blow the fire whistle. Nobody's going to respond. Not from here. Okay, and then I have this little piece here of my, and I'm going to use that for the center of my signature. And then I have, this is just a little piece of the coffee dyed paper, and I'm going to also be sticking that in just for a little spot that we can do something with. And, oh, I think I pulled it open here, so I'm just going to put the envelope in there, and I think I might want I'm going to put the envelope toward the bottom. And that's another thing, you know, when you add in these little little inserted things, you decide where you want them to go. You know, it's whatever you want. I think I'll add that one right before this orange and white polka dot here, so it really shows up. Please excuse that siren, it is so annoying. And that one I'm going to try to center in between. Okay, so basically, with just this, we have our little signature. And because this paper is so thick, I've got this going on. Can you see what I've got? I've got this going on where my pages are, they're getting farther out toward the middle. And I don't know if I'll be able to fix that. Sometimes when you sew them together, when you have that happen, I found that sometimes just that tension of the sewing will pull it in where it belongs. Other times not. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to be handling this because it's going to stick out the side of my journal. So what I may do, I may go in and I may cut those pieces down just a little bit. Just a little. Maybe just the ones that are going to give me a problem when this is closed, which is going to be most of them. Alright, well, we'll figure it out. This is the part of crafting. Nothing's ever foolproof. So, anyway, I'm thinking I may have to cut at least the ones back to here, back to where I have my envelope. I may have to cut those down, and I'm probably going to try like taking just 1/8 of an inch off of each one. So, let's just do that real quick. My 1/8 inch mark. Get that lined up good and straight. Cut it off. Oh, that is so... Ugh. Thank you so much for setting up that stupid siren. We haven't really had any severe weather. They use it for the severe weather here now. Well, they always have. But we haven't had any severe weather for... Not that's had to set the siren off for, I think, probably a couple years now. Which is kind of odd. I mean, I'm glad. I'm going to do that even with these two pieces of the designer paper here. Just taking off. Whoops, I didn't even cut all the way through. My next big purchase is going to be a rotary cutter. Oh, don't do that to me. Do not do that. I guess it cut part of it, part of the way. Alright, so it's going to go back in there. And I'm not going to worry if these pages are just a little bit, smaller, because when they're in the journal, hopefully we won't notice. But in a way, I'm glad that happened because it is something that can happen, and it's, you know, it's up to you how you decide to fix it. Maybe you don't mind your pages sticking out at the end. I just kind of wanted to try to get mine a little nicer. Let's see, how did I have this? I don't even know how I had it. That's how good I am. Okay, so that went over that, and this was my center. So, and as you can see, it still looks like it's sticking out, but I'm thinking now that, well, seems to be that piece of onion skin paper that I'm having a problem with. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to chop a little more off of that one. Try to get it straight. This stuff is so thin, it's hard to work with. And I'm going to take another 1/8 of an inch off of that one. And then I think we're going to call it good. And this one I was going to put right in here. Between these two. And you could sure make, you know, you can make it bigger if you want. It's there. That's better. It sticks out a little bit, but it's better. I'm thinking that may pull in when we sew it together. So there, that's all there is really, and we have a little junk journal here with what will be a junk journal with one little signature. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pages out, and I'm going to make sure they're all lined up so that they're flat on the top and the bottom, so I don't have any sticking out where I don't want them. And then I'm going to put them back in here, and I'm going to want that little, it's probably not going to be, I cut them a 1/4 of an inch smaller, but it's probably going to end up not being quite a 1/4 inch smaller. You know, when I get these, because these are all now coming out to the edge, and here it looks like more about of an 1/8 of an inch, but I think a lot of that's due to the thickness of the paper. Now, the other thing I've done, because we're going to be sewing this in, is I've taken a piece of paper, and this is just a piece of scrap. I didn't cut it to any particular width, but what I did do was I cut it 6 3/4 inches long, because this is where I'm going to know to poke my holes in the spine of my journal. So what I did was I just measured equal distance from the edges, and then equal distance from my other 2 dots. I don't know if you can see that. I think so. I'm sorry about my lighting. It's bad in here. Now I'll be right back. I need to get something. Oh, where did that go? Really never find anything I want when I want it. Okay, I'm thinking this might work. In case you've never done this before, where you poke the holes and you want them to line up really good, this is just a trick. I usually just poke mine, and sometimes I don't do the best job. But anyway, ideally you would want to use a phone book. I can't even find my phone book, my old one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just using a regular book, and I'm hoping it'll work the same. I've never done it with a regular book. But what you want to do is you want to take the spine of your book with your pages in it, like so. Then you want to lay it in the crease of the book. And that's what I said. A phone book is better because a phone book, you know, they're usually so thick they come up and over, and they really, really hold your, the spine of your book or your journal. They really hold it down into that crease. And I'm not sure that's going to work. This is going to work very well in this case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to line this up. And you should always remember which is your top and which is your bottom. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference, and sometimes, you know, if you're going to have an odd number of holes or something like that, or maybe you just get off of your marks a little bit, it's always good to label one part the top, like so, so that you know that where that is, and if you need to put this back on and line it up for any reason, you'll know that goes to the top of your book. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to get that right down into my, right down in there, make sure it's still lined up, and I'm going to I've got a Tim Holtz pokey tool is what I call them, and I'm just going to be using that to poke the holes. Because this is quite hard, I'm not sure I've gotten all the way through. I'm hoping so. And the last one. And I'm hoping I'm hitting it in the middle. Like I said, ideally you would want to use a phone book for sure. All right, and I didn't get in the middle on that one. Little tiny bit off. It's not going to hurt anything, but I want to make sure that I get this all the way through so that it comes out back here, like so. I think you can see that. And this one I didn't get it quite in the right spot, so poke it through again, and I'm in the right spot this time. And this one the same thing. I was off a little bit, where when you use a phone book you get a much more precise spot. So now I have my holes in here, and let's get this book out of here because that was not any help. Oh well, you live and learn, right? And now the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sewing this together, and I'm going to be using a black and white baker's twine on mine. And I'm just going to cut off a good length because I'm probably going to want some ends left. And I had a darning needle here, and darning needles have a sharp end. They're big, they have big eyes on them, but they have a sharp end. And I can't find my darning needle, so I'm going to be using tapestry needle, which also has a very large eye on it. I don't know if you can see that, I'm not even in camera. But the end is blunt. There's no point on the end of a darning needle, or a tapestry needle. So that's your difference there. Your tapestry needles have much bigger eyes in them. And what I'm going to do, and there are so many different ways to sew these. Doesn't, you know, it's, no, there are just so many different ways. What I'm going to do is I'm starting out here on the outside and the top hole, and I'm going to poke that through. And this card is really thick. And without a point on the end, sometimes it can be kind of hard. Ideally, I would love it to just go right straight through these holes I poked, but I don't think that's going to happen. I can see the holes, and I'm sorry, I know this is not, you know, right on camera. I can see the holes I've made. Oh. All right, we'll do it this way. We'll poke the whole thing up through first, and I want to leave a tail on this sticking out. I'm going to leave about that much. Now, if I was truly lucky, this would go right straight through all the holes I poked, and I wouldn't have a problem. But I'm not so sure if that's going to happen. I'm working on it. If I had had the darning needle, it would have went right up, straight up through, because I'd have had that tip on there. But I don't know where it's at. So, okay, so it's just in the onion skin. All right, now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pulling this through, like so, and pulling it up just like that. Now, for the next one, next hole, I'm going to be going down through. I have three holes along my spine, so I'm going to be going down through this middle one, like so, and I'm going to be coming out the back side again, and I will be going next down to the bottom one. And my hole is not lined up exactly on my spine. Not sure how that's going to work. I hate doing these from the underside, but what can you do? Like I said, there are many, many ways to do this. Many really good tutorials out there. So if you're looking to do it a different way, or, you know, just really want to watch somebody do it, go look up on, you know, like I said, there's so many amazing people out there that do mini albums and junk journals, and I do tutorials on them. There I am. I'm almost through that one. And the last one, it seems to be this onion skin paper I'm having the biggest problem with. So now I'm coming up through the center of my book again, and I'm just going to be pulling that. And I want this tight. I don't want it loose. I mean, I don't want to pull it so tight I rip my pages, but I don't want it loose either. And then now I'm just going to be going, I'm taking the bottom one, and I'm going to be going back through this middle. And what I want to make sure I don't do, I don't want to split my twine that I'm using. So I've got that there. And then my last one, I'm not going to be stitching back in, since this is just a small journal and it's not going to get a lot of use. I'm just going to take my needle out, And then I've got 2 pieces of the twine here. I want to make sure they're pulled good and tight. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this one up. Like I said, this is just a real simple, real easy. And if you go to the dollar store to get your card and you have scrap paper or leftover paper from years gone by, a very, very cheap little junk journal. I'm just holding my fingers on there because I want this good and tight. And I'm going to tie a double knot on it. Just like so. As you can see, here's our little junk journal. We have the card, which is the front, with a little cat on it. It says, "Don't be a scaredy cat." And I may embellish this some more, I'm not sure yet. And then we can open it up, and here we have our inside page. And then we have a piece of the scrapbook paper, a piece of the coffee dyed paper, another piece of scrapbook paper, and always, always make sure you get your papers in so they're all right side up. I just did a junk journal, and thank goodness it was just a spider web with a spider hanging down. Well, I did it backwards, and now my spider's climbing up the page, but, you know, spiders climb up too. I hate spiders. Just another coffee dyed page. What did I tell you? Guess what? I hate this paper like this. It's written on. It's so small. Upside down. Well, we'll take care of that when we, you know, do our embellishments and put in our pockets and tucks and all that. We'll take care of this. You'll never notice when I'm done. Here's part of our little double pocket, our little tuck spot here, and then the top opens to make a pocket. We could stick some tags or little ephemera in there. Another piece of that paper. Here's some more of the scrapbook paper. Coffee dyed copy paper. Here's that little piece I threw in. More scrapbook paper. Here's our onion skin and the center of our signature. So you see, it was that simple, that quick, and that easy. Aside from, you know, I did the cutting beforehand. It was that simple, that quick, and that easy to make just a cute little junk journal, you know, for Halloween. And this would probably do 1 year, you know, this Halloween's worth of things you could, you know, a lot of people, you take a lot of pictures on Halloween, it seems, because the kids are so cute in the costumes or whatever and stuff. And so there's plenty of places for that, and there's plenty of places to write down, you know, what happened, where they went, you know, maybe they got something special for a treat, or it came in and somebody, you know, was crafty, did a little package or something, and you might want to tuck that in here. And yeah, so this would be just about the right size for one holiday. And if you have, you know, like multiple kids or whatever, and what I'm doing is while I'm talking to you, I'm just going to weight this down because I want it to be a little flatter. But if you had, like, you know, 3 or 4 kids, you know, you could do one for each child. And then they could have their own little journal full of memories when, you know, they grow up, and you could give it to them. There. Okay, so anyway, part 2, we are going to come back and we're going to put in our pockets and tuck spots and embellishments, and we'll be done. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little project tonight. I hope you'll join me for part 2 when we do put the innards in and do the embellishments. If you're new to my channel and you like what you see so far, please hit like and subscribe. And thank you all very, very much for joining me. Bye-bye.